Just gonna hop right into it. I'm doing my top 10 games of all time list. I'm gonna be. I recorded this once before and I didn't really like the way it turned out, so I'm trying to keep this one a little bit more streamlined. So I'm gonna be talking about gameplay, visuals, soundtrack, and then just overall significance or impact that it had on me at whatever time in my life, and why, like the main reasons I'm putting it on the list. So we're starting off at number 10 here. This little game called Horizon's Gate. Also, a lot of these are going to be RPGs and shit, because that's what I play. But yeah, it's this game called Horizon's Gate. Probably the newest. Actually, I think this is the newest game on this list. Game came out like 2017 or so, I would say, and it's a pretty weird game, because you wouldn't think that it would make it on the list just off the merits of gameplay alone, but gameplay wise, I think it's like a 10 out of 10. Like, this is probably like my favorite tactical RPG gameplay wise, like maybe ever. I think, and also the soundtrack goes crazy. The plot is non-existent. There's really no plot. Like, you just kind of start off, you have a ship, and then you get betrayed by like someone that was close to you, and then you want revenge. That's pretty much. And then the rest of the game, you're just free to do whatever you want. Like, there's no form of central plot really whatsoever. But it's definitely carried by the gameplay. Like, gameplay wise, this game is fucking. I have like 300 hours or something in it. Like, I literally can't stop playing it. I just, even Viva Pigeon here, I was just talking to him like yesterday or 2 days ago, like, bro, I'm about to start another Horizon's Gate run. Like, I literally just can't fucking stop playing it. I think it's one of the most well-made indie games that I've ever played. And yeah, it's number 10 on the list. So coming in at number 9, it's a game that if you've been on the stream, you know fairly well, I would say. Got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle here. I fucking love this game. Okay, this game is like, gameplay wise, it's hard to place it, because I think the core like racing sort of treasure hunting style of gameplay is not like what really makes the game. What makes the game is the Chow Garden, because like as a game itself, if you take the chows out of it, gameplay wise, it's probably like a 5 or a 6, maybe a 7. If I'm being objective, in my heart, everything's a 10, because this is just a childhood game. But the Chow Garden is really what makes this. It's like still to this day one of the most like in-depth mini games that have ever been made, like side projects, I guess you could call it. But I mean, people still play it to this day. You've got like, there's a whole active modding scene for it. Like, people literally were like captivated by this little mini game that we got going on here. Soundtrack wise, 10 out of 10. This game soundtrack goes fucking stupid. They have like, and every character has their own theme, has their own genre of music, which is really cool. So Sonic has like the rock kind of vibe. Like Knuckles has rap music. Tails' music is more like, I don't even know what Tails' genre is actually. Like, it's kind of weird. It's just like uplifting, I guess. It's like more uplifting music. And Eggman's also, I can't really place. I don't know what genre Eggman's is, to be honest. But I mean, it's all bangers. Like, everyone has their bangers. My personal favorite, Rouge, because I'm a jazz guy over here. I think that pretty much sums it up for Sonic. Honestly, just iconic. I still play this game on stream. Like, this was my second most streamed game of 2022 outside of Melee. Like, I played this game second most, which is like pretty insane, but I love it. Getting on to number 8 here, we got us Tales of Symphonia. So I don't know how many people actually know about the Tales games. Like, I feel like they're fairly popular at this point, but this is the first one I ever played. It's on GameCube. I played it with my brothers. It's pretty much one of the only action RPGs I like consistently play. This game is just fantastic. The Tales games, like, they're known for their wonderful characters. The gameplay is always super fun, pulling off crazy flashy combos. And yeah, I mean, I think plot wise, like, they're always strong. The plots can be similar at times. Like, There's always like some overarching problem, and then you kind of have to go on an adventure in order to solve the issues and whatnot. But I think the charm of the Tales games really comes from the characters and like their interpersonal relationships and stuff like that. Like you get to see a lot of character growth, character development. I think that's really fun. Soundtrack is always like almost always solid, like 8 out of 10. I think yeah, they always just like the soundtrack fits what's going on in the scenario. There's only a couple of Tales songs that I would say I like go out of my way to listen to after I'm done playing the games, but they always fit. So yeah. And then also, this is just one of the first games I fell in love with. Like I played this with my brothers. This is like one of the games that really like shaped my love for gaming. It made me associate gaming with like good things, because on the weekends, me and my brothers, you know, we're done with school. Friday we all come back and then we like hop on Tales. It's multiplayer too, so that's always just fun, like going on a grand adventure and shit with your bros. This game just gives me, you know, just gives me good feelings. So yeah, this game definitely one of the GOAT Tales games for sure. And we're coming at number 7. So this might surprise a lot of people. I don't know if they thought it would be higher or lower, but coming at number 7, we have Super Smash Bros. Melee. I'm sure people thought this would be higher, but I've played a lot of fucking games, and I mean, I think it's impressive that Melee is at 7, considering I've played it for 2 years. Like I played it when I was younger too, sure, but like this is like, I would say most of the impact the game has been made on me is in my adult life. You know, like this game, obviously one of the best fighting games ever made. Like expression is there. Like you can see one person playing the same character and you can tell who it is. Like to this day, I don't think there's another game that allows you to inject yourself into the game as much as Melee does, if that makes sense. Obviously soundtrack for Melee fucking goes stupid. Like they have so many bangers on here. The Battlefield themes, Dreamland. I mean, we could go on and on. Like all the stages are fucking got some heaters. And yeah, I mean, obviously just the legacy that Melee has too. Like there's a reason it's stuck around since like 2000 or whenever the fuck it came out. Like people are still playing it. You know, this is a tourney VOD from 2022. Like big ass tourney. Like people still love this game. Like that's just a testament to how good it is and how like impactful it is to so many people. Like the only reason I would say it's not higher on the list and it's at number 7 is because, like I said, I just started playing like 2 years ago or a year ago, whatever. Like, but even then I could tell like, yeah, this game is gonna be an all-timer for me for sure. It already is. Like definitely just one of the best fighting games ever made. So yeah, Melee at number 7. Moving on to number 6. Now this game right here, ooh, I fucking love this game. Mother 3, man. Mother 3 is a fucking, this is like, I don't even know, man. Like gameplay wise, honestly, nothing crazy, I would say. Like it's just a pretty standard like turn-based JRPG, like, you know, with some quirkiness thrown in there. Like, you know, you could see here you got like the rhythm mini game where you press A to get extra hits, and that gives you some extra damage. But outside of that, like nothing crazy. You level up, you get abilities and all that stuff. The appeal of Mother and Earthbound and anyone who's played any of these kinds of games is like usually in the characters, the writing, and the soundtrack. The soundtrack for Mother is like 11 out of 10. The soundtrack for this game goes really stupid. Like they just went crazy with it. And I think it's one of the most emotional games that I've played in terms of like plot and stuff. Because especially like for a Game Boy game, like I think this is probably the best Game Boy game that's just out there. Like this is just the best Game Boy game of all time. This game is like, the first time I played it, I couldn't even believe what just happened. It's like I had like that post-game depression, you know, like where you beat a game that's so good that you're just like, what do I even do with my life now? Like that, this game gave me that so bad. Like without spoiling, like there's just so many of the emotional moments and so much of the buildup just pays off in such a satisfying way. And I mean, you get a full length journey. This is a fairly long game. You go through quite a bit of shit, you know. But yeah, that's Mother 3, number 6. I think definitely one of the most impactful games I've ever played, and I definitely think it deserves this high of a spot. And coming at number 5. So this one was kind of a toss up because I was stuck between putting this at number 5 and putting Mother 3 at number 5. But I think when the first like draft of the list I was making, I was like, I can't not have a Legend of Zelda game on here. Like it's too iconic of a franchise, and it means too much to me to not have it on here, you know. So Wind Waker was the first Legend of Zelda that I ever played, and that kind of got me into the Legend of Zelda like lore, universe, whatever you want to call it. I was like, holy shit, this is something special right here. Like I think Wind Waker gameplay wise is just, oh my gosh, it's so incredible. It's like Breath of the Wild before Breath of the Wild, you know, like the sense of freedom you have, like exploring the open world when you're a kid, right? Because when you're older, you can obviously see the limitations, but when you're a kid and you're on the Great Sea and you're just sailing around, seeing all this shit, you're like, oh my gosh, this game is fucking, this game is crazy. Like, I just have so many beautiful memories of like sitting in my room at like 4 a.m. just like checking if my parents are awake, turning Wind Waker on, just listening to the Great Sea theme, just like sort of sailing around, fighting shit. The combat in this game is actually really fun too. Like it always felt super fun to lock on, like get the little parry with the A button. Like that shit always felt amazing. And yeah, soundtrack wise, obviously another 10 out of 10. Like this game has so many fucking heaters. It's crazy. Like Great Sea theme. I mean, the mini boss theme, like just a bunch of crazy ass songs that really just make you feel some type of way, you know. And I think the story is honestly really good too. Like, you know, you're invested pretty quickly when a bird comes and snatches your little sister, you know. You're like, what the fuck? This shit's crazy. And I think Tetra's really cool too. She's a super cool character. So yeah, Wind Waker, I love that game. Yeah, it's a great game. Yeah, this is probably my favorite Legend of Zelda game. But Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, obviously very like I could have just as easily put in here as well, but I gave the nod to Wind Waker just because it was my first one. And you know, nostalgia holds a lot of power here. We are now moving on to number 4. It's not a top 10 games list without a Persona game in there. I gotta give it to P3. P3 I also give it to because it was my first one, and I still think like in terms of like I played P3 at a time in my life where it was like this game was like one of the main things I would look forward to for like a really long time. Like when I get back home from school, I was like so ready to play Persona. I was so excited. You know, I was like, oh shit, man, like this game just means a lot to me. A lot of the themes they tackle, like it's like more mature stuff, but I think that there are a lot of things in there that I like resonated with at the time when I was playing it. Like I just moved to California, you know, I was kind of on my own. I like didn't really know anyone here. I was like kind of sad. I was like, what the fuck? And then, you know, like this game just made for like a really, really good escape. Also hard as fuck. This game is like super hard. I definitely by no means think it's the best Persona game. Like that's obviously P5. Yeah, but I think Persona 3's got to be on here. Yeah, soundtrack obviously every Persona game is like, come on, every Persona game fucking hits the mark as far as soundtrack goes. Like you ain't even gotta talk about that shit, man. They have some real fucking heaters on here. And yeah, I think that about covers it. This game just really means a lot to me still to this day. Like I can't wait till I replay it, you know. I'll probably do that on stream at some point. So coming in at number 3, This one might surprise people because I don't know how many people actually even know what this game is. But number 3, got Xenogears, man. Xenogears. If you don't know this game and you are into retro RPGs, please do yourself a favor and play this fucking game. This is he's obviously one of my favorite games of all time. I fucking love this game. This game is like, oh man, let me just gameplay wise, it's the animations. You can see like they have all these mechas, and then you have like portions of the game where you're on the ground as well. You learn death blows. There's a lot of cool different combos and stuff. So like square is like a left punch, triangle is like a right punch, X is like a special move, and then circle is like a kick. And then you can do like different combos, and then they turn into like actual scripted like animations where they like do this crazy shit. Yeah, Xenogears, definitely gameplay amazing, like still holds up to this day in my opinion for a PS1 RPG. Soundtrack is so good. Soundtrack is like, it's like quintessential 90s anime. Honestly, that's kind of how I could describe Xenogears in a way. Like it feels like you're playing a 90s anime, but like the best parts of the 90s anime, you know? Like the story has a lot of character growth, progression, like some tragedy. Yeah, and just like the way you see the things you see the main character go through and then like overcome, just the stakes of everything. Like you're dealing with some really like serious themes of like depression and like all this other shit. And I always will say that I have a soft spot for characters that go through tragedy and like come out on the other side in some way, shape, or form. I always think that's a really like uplifting, you know, like, and it makes you relate to the characters in some way, right? Like you see your favorite character going through some shit and then they make it out. You're like, okay, you know, at least for me, when I was playing this when I was younger, like I was like, man, this is fucking tough. Like, but yeah, no, I think Xenogears is just one of the best RPGs ever made. Definitely one of my favorite games, third favorite game of all time. And yeah, I mean, I think if you've played it or if you haven't played it, like you should check it out if you're into RPGs for sure. Number 2, second favorite game of all time. Jaden, you know this one. Got Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions, whatever you want to call it. This game, this fucking game, it just barely missed out on number 1, and you'll see why. Yeah, you're just about to say it? Yeah. See, Jaden, even I've been playing this game since I was, I mean, what grade were we when I was playing this? 6th grade? Yeah, 6th grade. I love this game. Like this game is probably, outside of Fire Emblem, has been the most influential game in shaping my taste as a gamer and just who I am as a gamer. It's just so good. The plot, I think, loses some people because it's very like, there's a lot of like politics and like other little things going on, and I don't know why I found that so interesting when I was young. I was just a weird ass fucking kid, but that's like really what kind of shaped the way I like storytelling. Like I kind of like more complicated political stories. Like this has so much nuance. The characters all have such different motivations. Characters switch sides a lot. You just see a whole bunch of like this game has such a good example of like why nothing is truly black or white, is what I can say for the plot. Like nothing is really always what it seems, I guess. Like in a more traditional RPG, it's like, okay, you got the good guys, you got the bad guys, let's go. And then in this game, it deals more with like ideologies and like what you value as a person kind of thing. Like the bad guys could just as easily be the good guys if you just switch the perspective. You know what I mean? And then obviously like there's some villains in there too, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Like the plot wise, it's just one of the best games I've ever played. One of my favorite games I've ever played. Gameplay wise, I was talking about Horizon's Gate at number 10, tactics gameplay. That's probably my second favorite gameplay tactics game. This one is number 1 because this is just the grandfather of tactics games right here. You got so much freedom, customizability in what you want to do. A billion different classes. You've got mods now. People mod the shit out of this game. I mean, you have there's so many things to love here about the game. Like, you could literally just play the game just for fun and not pay attention to the story. But I think gameplay and plot wise, like, this is just one of my favorite games of all time, and it's really, it's just there's so much good shit happening here. Talking about it is making me want to play it again. But yeah, if you're into the whole, like, you know, kind of complicated storytelling, I guess I wouldn't even say complicated. It's just like, it just makes you think, you know. But you have to pay attention. It's like one of those, you can't really like pick it up and put it down for like a month and a half and then come back kind of thing. It's like, if you're playing it, you got to play it, you know, unless you just have a crazy good memory. But yeah, there's a lot of shit going on, so it's hard to keep up if you're not like paying attention. Final Fantasy Tactics, that's what we got at number 2. And now for my favorite number 1 game of all time. Because notice, guys, there hasn't been a Fire Emblem game here yet. Don't you think that's strange? Me, the Fire Emblem guy, no Fire Emblem games on the top 10 list? Of course it's gotta be. It is Radiant Dawn. Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. I put them together because, you know, I'm a cheater, but it's my list, so, you know, hey. Stop. Yes, sir. I can't stop. I gotta let the people know. I gotta tell the people, man. This game. So realistically, I was really racking my brain, right? Because I knew that no matter what, a Fire Emblem game would be number 1, obviously, because that's just like the most influential game series in my life. Like, without Fire Emblem, I don't even fucking know, man. I would be a different person, probably. To be completely honest, like, I'm not even exaggerating. Probably just a different ass person without Fire Emblem. But I think I had to give it to Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn because, I mean, it is kind of cheating because it's 2 games, but I think realistically one game is not complete without the other. One's really not complete without the other, and I didn't realize that until I got older. But the world building in this game is it's the best. It's the best that Fire Emblem has to offer, really. It's not even like, I don't think it's close, and I don't think any other game comes close in terms of like setting things up on a global scale in terms of the world, and then like having all these plot lines be resolved, having them like be extended, seeing certain things come to a close, certain things like start up again over the course of 2 games, because there's a decent chunk of time in between both games. So you get to see the characters that were kids in Path of Radiance grow up. You get to see, I mean, Soth, look at this guy Soth right here. This guy, he's a little shitter in Path of Radiance. He's just a little squirt. He like stows onto the ship, and then now he fucking turns into this beast ass, just one of the strongest units. Like, it's just like gameplay wise too. Obviously, both games, I would say, like, Radiant Dawn takes it gameplay wise, but plot wise, they're both pretty even. I give the nudge to Path of Radiance because of the supports, and then soundtrack, incredible for both. Definitely not like the highlight as much as it is like the plot and the world building, I would say, because there's just even little, like, because I was planning to do a video essay on this series. Like, I'm gonna do a video essay on these at some point, and as I was like doing my little research, like playing through the game again, like just noticing little, like, there's so many little things that they hint at in Path of Radiance that don't even get addressed, or just are like, you don't even, it doesn't even click until you get to Radiant Dawn, like the end of the game, and you're like, oh wait a minute, like this little thing they mentioned at the beginning of like Path of Radiance is like over here. Like they everything just feels alive, everything feels so consistent within the world, and like it's honestly a shame that nothing of this caliber has been taken on by Intelligent Systems since then in terms of world building. But I get it, it's a lot of work, and obviously and these games didn't even do that well, which is fucked up. Retrospectively, they do now. Like Path of Radiance on Amazon is worth like $300 or some stupid shit like that, and Radiant Dawn's like 150. Like that, all these games are expensive as shit. Not to brag, but I have physical copies of both, so you know, whatever. I'm a real Fire Emblem fan. But yeah, Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, favorite game of all time, I would say. It had to be a Fire Emblem game, it was just a matter of which one. But yeah, that's the list, you know. So just to run through it again real quick, anyone who might have missed on stream. Number 10, we had Horizon's Gate. Indie RPG, Indie Tactics RPG. Number 9, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Number 8, Tales of Symphonia. Number 7, we had Melee. Number 6, Mother 3. Number 5, Wind Waker. Number 4, Persona 3. Number 3, Xenogears. Number 2, Final Fantasy Tactics. And number 1, Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn. And for honorable mentions, I have Dokapon Kingdom because I love that game. That's probably like one of my most played games of all time. But yeah, this was fun. This was fun. I appreciate everybody hanging out for this, for real. Yeah, this will be on YouTube sometime next week probably. But yeah, peace, everybody.